You can download it too for 30 bones. It's called RBI.
Oh, fuck you.
Yeah, wow. Hey, Brian, I missed you.
You're over here trying to sell me a $30 game.
I ain't trying to sell it to you. If I was trying to sell it to you, you'd buy it.
Welcome to another episode of FanCast Fridays. It's your boy Neth here with the crew.
Hey, what up? It's Bryant.
What's up, guys? This is Cody.
Guys, good morning. How are ya? Mario's here in your ear.
And in the background is Reza with us today.
Yeah, that was uncomfortable, Mario. I don't want you in my ear.
That was very uncomfortable.
Well, I love that.
God.
It rhymes. So
All right,
cheerful.
Let's do another one.
Oh, why did you do that?
Perfect. Dude just comes in and super cheerful. You're going to say, nah, bro, we scrapping that. Sound miserable, Mario.
God. All right, we are talking about bubble teams in the NBA. It's the rush to the playoffs. Everybody's about to be settled down in like the next 20 games. I believe everybody has just about under 20 games left.
Between 16 and 18 left.
Now,
Yeah.
I have a question real quick for you guys.
Sure.
And I've been waiting for this up until the recording. What is a bubble team? Can you explain that to me?
A bubble team is a team that is on the cusp of making the playoffs and or is near the end of the season and is still in contention for not being in the playoffs, aka almost the entire Western Conference.
I disagree with that. I think it's just if you're on the bubble of being in or out of the playoffs. I think
Which is the entire Western Conference.
You guys
You
think
have to-
you guys
you
said the
have
same
to
thing
put
and
se-
you didn't even realize.
you have to
3
put
through
seeding-
11 seed. The 3 through 11 seed all have a potential chance of making or not making the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't.
Daniel, you
I
need
just-
to understand how close this West is.
I'm looking
You're looking
at how
at kids and not records. Look at the big picture. You're looking at the trees, not the forest.
Damn.
Wow.
All right, Gandhi.
All right. I'm looking
on
at
that
this.
note, let's start a low ball, Let's start an underhand throw. Let's talk about the East. Because I feel like the East is more defined with your vision of the bubble.
Most definitely.
So Nathaniel, tell me about these bubble teams.
All right. So this is my definition of a bubble team. All right. It's the 9th and 10th seed usually. If there's those two seeds have the same record with a lot of teams before them, then it kind of just includes that record bracket. So if we're going to look at the East, the two clear bubble teams, the ones that are most have the best chance of getting in, are Charlotte and Detroit. And the two spots that they could take is either Miami's and or Milwaukee's.
Or 76ers. Only
Yeah,
one.
one of the 76ers. It's only a half game between.
It's two
Philadelphia
games.
and
It's
Milwaukee.
2 games. It's 2 games, dude. It's they're so the Milwaukee Bucks and Detroit, right, are 5 games apart. The Philadelphia 76ers and Detroit are 7 games apart. That's significant.
Do we have hold on. I don't think we have an updated record.
No,
Yeah,
we
I'm
don't.
looking at the updated standings.
Looking at the updated standings. Yeah, that's one of the things.
My argument still holds true. Like,
That's okay. Let me open up.
here, I'll post. I'm on the page right now. I'll just
Do
send it
that.
to you.
Do that. I need that
Yeah,
for sure.
I was going off the other one as well.
Mario.
Don't say Mario. It's the time this was updated. And I thought he would just go off of what we had.
Nah, because we can't look silly.
What do you mean? We're going to look silly anyways. I'm going to be talking about games that are going on tonight like they haven't happened yet.
No, but I'm saying if we go by the
Where did
one,
you post that?
it's in the FanCast Google Hangouts.
There's not many teams playing tonight.
Yeah, but Warriors are one of them. And I have a case. So yeah.
They're not a bubble team.
They're not a bubble.
But they're playing a bubble team.
They're relevant.
That's not irrelevant. I'm going to bring that up.
It's
Yeah,
kind
you
of a
can
loss
bring-
because the
you can
Warriors are
bring
going
that
to
up,
win.
That's fine.
The Warriors are going to win, so it kind of
Okay,
doesn't matter.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Ready? All right. So here we go for the third time. All right, let me put you guys up. Here we go. So does everybody have the updated standings in front of them?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so all of my arguments are made off of like the current standings. Okay?
Okay. Yep. Ready.
All right. So we're talking about the East, talking about bubble teams. There seems to be some disagreement, to put it lightly, between what we consider a bubble team. what I consider to be a bubble team are the last two spots. So seats 9 and 10 usually are the ones with the closest record to be able to upset the most likely the 8th seed, sometimes the 7th seed. In the East, that's what's going on right now. Both the 7th and 8th seed have the same record overall, and they're just 5 games up from the 9th seed and 6 games up from the 10th seed. Now, in my opinion, 5 games if you have a weak schedule, right, and the other teams have a stronger schedule than you, and I looked into their schedules as well, is very feasible to do. You know, like if you play at your best, they play at their and things go how it should go for them statistically, you are able to take those 2 spots. So my bubble teams are Miami, Milwaukee, Detroit, and Charlotte.
I think
I still see Philadelphia there because
Still 2-2.
Philadelphia is a very unexperienced team. To your point that you make in a lot of NBA arguments, there's a rookie wall that people hit. And a lot of these people on Philadelphia don't have a whole lot of experience playing. You know, your Joel Embiid, your Ben Simmons, everything like that. So they're a team that can collapse very, very quickly.
I would be more apt to believe you, but like if you look at how they're in their last 10 games, they're 7-3. They're coming off of a win, right? If you look at the teams under them too, Miami's 5-5 in their last 10. Milwaukee's 7-3. Detroit's 2-8. Charlotte's 5-5. Of that bracket, right? They're the only ones playing well. And if you go up and look above them, all the other good teams have winning records out in the past 10 games. So they're one of those teams. They have a winning record in their last 10 games. They have more than 6 games up from like the lowest seeded team that can break them. That's why I don't see their position being that much affected. Realistically, you're going to see the most movement between 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now,
I mean, that's fair enough, but the point is a team like Philadelphia is very sporadic. A team like Philadelphia can fall apart in an instant, in my opinion. And
I agree.
I see that putting them on the bubble when they're only a game ahead of the team below them.
2 games.
2 games. My apologies. 2 games ahead with 16 games left in the season or so at the time of this recording.
Mm-hmm.
It can drop in a heartbeat. All it takes is a bad stretch of games for it to fall apart for them.
All right. Let me make another point as to why I feel like Philadelphia is not going to be a bubble team. If you look at their schedule, all right, they play a lot of maybe not easy, but lesser competition or same competition teams, right? You want to be respectful.
They have a lot of easy games.
They have a lot of easy games. They have a gross, so what I did is I broke it down into if you're playing a team that is outside of the playoff bubble, right? So, or outside of the 8th seed, you get like -1. If you play a team that's inside the playoffs, but not a top 4 team, it's 0. And if you play a top 4 ranked team in either league, you get +1, right? And so if you have a negative score, your schedule is very weak. If you have a positive score, it's pretty strong, right? When I did it out, they had a -12. They play so many bad teams. Brooklyn.
They play a lot of bad teams.
And they have one back-to-back at the later half of it. The bulk of they don't play a hard team realistically until the Celtics, and that's in their last 5 games.
I disagree completely. You have Indiana, who's going to be hungry for the playoffs. You have Charlotte, who's going to be fighting for everything to get a playoff seed. You have Minnesota, who's a very good team. You have Denver, who's currently tied to make the playoffs at the moment.
I mean, Denver's in the bubble.
Cleveland, that's a bad team that they're playing Friday, April 6th.
No, Milwaukee? That's the team I'm telling you. That's the team. But
you said Boston.
I'm sorry. I meant to say Cleveland. If you look at the teams, right? Think about it. I can't say they're going to win or lose a game against another playoff team because both teams, I think, are equally as motivated to do well, right? Now, if you're one of these teams and facing competition that's supposed to be lesser than you, and you also need to keep your seeding, then I'm going to give you the advantage in that situation. Now, if you're playing a team that is significantly better than you, right, which a lot of the teams, once you go past 4R, there's a really good difference between the top 4s in each league and the bottom 4s and 6s, then I'm going to give you a disadvantage. And if you go through by that criteria, they play a lot of weak teams.
That's
Brooklyn Knicks. They also have one. They only have one back-to-back. They have one back-to-back, and it's at the end of their season. If you
that's good for Joel Embiid because he doesn't really play back.
They have 2 back-to-backs.
They have 2 back-to-backs, but that's still not that bad though. In comparison,
I'm just looking at the schedule. They're popping out at me.
what do you mean 4? They have 2.
Thursday, March 15th. Friday, March 16th.
Against New York and New York. So those are kind of meh.
Back to back.
Back to back, regardless.
Back to back. Going down in April.
Wednesday, March 21st. Thursday, March 22nd.
Thank you. I almost missed that. Now April 3rd, April 4th, then April 10th, April 11th. That's 4 back-to-backs, Nathaniel.
They got 4 back-to-backs.
Oh, man.
I only counted one when I did it. I'll accept that I'm wrong, but still. All right, then let's go to Miami.
That's 8 games. That's half their season left.
Let's go to Miami, right? Look at Miami's schedule.
Regardless, I think 76ers pop the bubble. I think they're in, or I don't know.
I say this. I say all of this thinking my Philadelphia is gonna make it. I think if any team doesn't make it, it's gonna be Miami, and because they probably finish 41-41 at this point. I honestly think they have the best shot to finish 500.
You know, it kills me because I've been the biggest Miami Heat fan. I love Eric Spoelstra. I think he's the second best coach in the league. But this team, I don't know what's happened. I don't know.
Who's your favorite? Tyronn Lue? Is he number 1?
Tyronn Lue is doing a better job.
Tyronn Lue does not qualify as a coach.
Lue is doing a better job as of late. Okay, he's doing
5 times 0 is still 0.
He's not doing anything as of late. Okay, I think that Miami Heat, they're just on a slump. They're in serious trouble. They have a big cushion on Charlotte, who I think is the team that overpasses them. And I hate to say it, but I don't think Miami gets it. I think Charlotte gets
for Detroit so hard.
Detroit.
I want Blake Griffin to sneak in there. I know they're in a huge mudslide of a.
Oh my God, Detroit! The Blake Griffin experiment failed, and now Detroit's future is just hucked. Okay,
how are we gonna say that the experiment is failed? They've had less.
I agree with you, Nathaniel. I don't think anything has failed.
Nothing has failed at all.
It was
failed.
He was traded at the trade deadline with no time to get any synergy.
Neither can score outside the paint.
Also, let's this Blake Griffin has been knocking down threes. Have you been watching the past few games?
I have been watching the past few games.
You have? Okay.
How dare you?
How can you say that?
Neither of them can score outside the paint. That is the problem.
You look
at something like the Pelicans. You look at the Pelicans, and both Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins have both great. Like DeMarcus Cousins has always been known for his range, and even Anthony Davis is getting.
DeMarcus Cousins has not always been known.
Yes, he has. He's always been the splash cousin.
Not until fairly recently.
He was not. He was the splash cousin. He was the splash cousin.
You modern day NBA fan, you get out.
Oh my gosh.
Until
recently enough. Until recently enough.
You go think about what you've done. Blake Griffin is shooting 33% from 3, which is fairly decent for a 6'11" power forward.
It's not enough.
Who literally just dunked. Did nothing but dunk.
Did nothing but dunk and pass. And that's the problem. All either of them do is just dunk and pass.
Absolutely. What about Reggie Jackson?
What about him?
What about their cornerstone point guard? And the experiment has failed?
Yes.
So a team who just got together,
Cody,
isn't healthy.
DeMarcus Cousins is only shooting 35%.
Damn right.
That's irrelevant, Brian.
That's not irrelevant. That is like the crust.
It doesn't matter. The Pistons experiment has failed. I mean, come on. They acquired this guy to try to push into the playoffs, but they're 2-8 in their last 10. They're really struggling. Boogie and Anthony Davis flowed together much better than Andre Drummond and Blake.
They had an off-season together?
They had a whole off-season.
They're different.
I'm sorry. Are we talking about the entire franchise career? Are we talking about this playoff season? Are we talking about this bubble? Their bubble's
Like I
popped.
said,
They're out.
Their bubble is not popped.
I'm rooting for Detroit. I'm not saying
Detroit
that
will
it's
not
going to
make it.
happen this
In my
season.
opinion, Detroit falls on the outer side of the bubble.
Boom.
Charlotte makes it. Charlotte pushes out Miami. In my opinion, Charlotte pushes out
agree.
Miami. They're hungry. They're 5-5 in their last 10.
On
But-
a 4-game
yeah.
hungry.
They
Five and
played
five.
Boston,
On a
Philly,
4-game
and
series.
Toronto. So come on, top teams in the East. They've played Boston, Philly, and Toronto. So I think we got to take that with a grain of salt. But I think Charlotte makes it easily.
I don't think Charlotte make.
How
I don't think he's.
I think if anything, Detroit has the if they were healthy, I would pick Detroit to make it because they have more talent than Miami. Van Gundy is trying to coach this team the best that he can. I've watched their last 3 games. Yeah, they've been losses, but one they've been playing for the most part. They've been playing well. The person that you keep disrespecting in Blake Griffin is doing a fantastic job. Has been hitting threes. All right. Yes, he's shooting 33% to DeMarcus Cousins 35%, but that is very much so comparable. You got Andre Drummond,
Especially considering a guy who didn't shoot threes for the 5, 6, 7 years of his career.
And maybe we'll talk about him more next year when he's shooting 34%. But as of this year, his bubble's out.
The other thing you said is the experiment failed. That's my issue. There is no experiment failed. This is the experiment. They are a bubble team, and I don't think they're going to make it. I do agree that Charlotte has the best chance of offsetting somebody. Literally, it's Miami's spot to lose at this point. Charlotte wants it, and if Miami doesn't correct the ship, if Eric Spoelstra isn't the second best coach in the NBA and gets this team to play the way, your words.
He is the second
Your
best
words.
coach. Not. He is absolutely the second best.
No. If he is the second best coach in the NBA, then he should be able to get his team to play the right way and to hold on to that spot.
Second worst coach in the NBA.
I mean, I don't know if I'd go that far, but
I would.
not the second best. He's not a top 5 either.
Oh my God.
All right,
Sorry.
let's talk
You have a
about
bias.
the more fun conference at the moment. The
Bucks also make it.
The Western Conference, which is just electric at the moment with playoff hopefuls.
It's electric.
I disagree.
Walk me through. You disagree?
I disagree.
What, that the West is? How?
The third seed?
I think so because looking at the teams
Look at the teams.
that I'm going by yours because you included the entire Western Conference.
Because it's that close.
It's that close.
There's 4
It's
games.
you're not looking at
between 7
standings.
teams.
You're not looking at standings. You're just looking at seeds. Look at the win percentage. Look at the games back.
I'm looking at when I broke it down before. That's what I used. All right, and you have the Lakers in there. I don't see the Lakers being in there.
The Lakers are a dark horse to
The
make.
Lakers are a strong push.
Yeah, how much have they won? Like
They're 6-4 in their last 10.
yeah,
That's not bad. Lonzo's been balling
That's not
out. I
bad.
think they have a chance if they really put it together, but they need a lot of other teams to struggle.
I don't think they have a chance this year.
I think the 2 teams ahead of them are gonna play better. Definitely Utah. Utah is one of the teams to snag a spot.
8,
They're
9,
8
and 10. 8, 9, and 10 are all currently 16.5 games back. That is crazy.
Yeah.
That's the bubble.
That's unbelievable. It's so awesome.
No, it's great, but I'm saying that's a bubble, not you can't just keep.
Are you saying the Thunder's in the bubble?
Yes.
Well, yeah, I'd say the Thunder in the bubble. They're only one.
Okay, Nathaniel, go game by game with me because I want to know where you're. Because I think Trailblazers to Jazz, maybe Lakers. Trailblazers down is bubble.
4 games back. 4 games back between the 8, 10 to the 3 seed.
Okay, all right. So we'll start with the Trailblazers. Why I don't believe they're in the bubble. Yes, they're 4 games back, but they're playing fantastic basketball right now. They're 9-1 on an 8-game win streak. Let's look at the people that they're going up that they would be losing their seats to. All right, in my opinion, starting with San Antonio.
Okay,
starting with San Antonio because if the New Orleans, I think they're
Oh my! I'm sorry. I'm looking at the Trailblazers schedule. I think they have the second hardest schedule left.
You think they have the second hardest schedule left?
Yes.
I can
They're
see
9-1 in their last 10.
Yeah, they're last 10, but we're looking forward now. They play Golden State Friday night. Then you have Miami, who's hungry. We're using the term hungry, so I'm going to throw that out there like it means something. Then you got Cleveland. Then you got the Blake Griffin experiment. Then you got the Clippers, who are also hungry. Then Houston, Boston, OKC, New Orleans. These are just back-to-back. There's no games in between those. They're playing very good teams.
It's true. They are playing a lot of good teams in this.
Okay, the only gimme I see left is Memphis, who they play
the
twice.
Rockets, the Spurs, the Nuggets, the Jazz.
They play nothing but hard games.
Yeah, Portland has a hard road ahead of them. There's no doubt.
I see Portland making it. I'll admit, I see them making it. I see them finishing 6th seed or lower.
Wow.
I
mean, I think that New Orleans passes them. New Orleans definitely passes Portland.
I agree.
That's passes Portland, but I think they could finish.
But then again, that's not a bubble.
I don't. It is a bubble. Technically, mathematically, by definition, it's a bubble. But the real change we're going to see is between 6 and 10. I think that's where we're going to see the most change.
I disagree.
I don't know.
I disagree.
I know you called Portland having a tough schedule. I just looked at New Orleans' schedule. Oh my goodness.
Wait till you see San Antonio's schedule.
They have a tough road ahead. They have Washington, Utah, San Antonio, Houston, Boston, Houston again, Portland, Cleveland, OKC.
Yeah.
The Warriors.
That's why the bubble is so big this year.
Oh, Lord.
Like Kevin Durant would go to all these teams in the offseason because these are all the hardest road, Nathaniel. I need you to grasp that.
They can't all be. So if they can't all be the hardest road. So going off of that, right? Because I'm saying from San Antonio down is my biggest movers. San Antonio does have a very harder
schedule.
I think the Lakers have a harder schedule
than the Spurs.
Yeah, but realistically, I think we can all agree that the Lakers probably aren't going to make it.
I'm sorry, not the Lakers, the Clippers. I think the Clippers schedule is just as hard, if not harder, than the San Antonio Spurs schedule.
Okay, here's a question.
I disagree.
Here's a question that I have for everybody. What team out of the 9 and 10 seed, because those are the two teams that are probably have the best chance of making it into the playoffs, what teams make it and what teams don't make it into the playoffs?
Exactly.
Both the Nuggets and the Jazz make it.
And who gets knocked out?
San Antonio, Oklahoma City.
Okay, I agree partially.
I think Clippers don't make it. You keep hyping on this Oklahoma. The Clippers don't have enough going down. The Clippers, and they have a very hard schedule. They have, in my opinion, just as hard.
They all have hard schedules.
Okay, now they all have hard schedules?
You're going to see the Clippers run by Lou Williams are going to make it over Oklahoma City?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
I agree with him on that.
Thank you.
The Clippers have a hard schedule. They have a hard upcoming schedule, I will say, though. They play Cleveland, Milwaukee twice, the Wolves, the Raptors, the Pacers. I mean, it's not super hard, but it's decent. I think the difference here is the Jazz make it and Oklahoma City drops. I don't think Denver makes it.
That's still the same, though. Mario's saying that they're not going to make the playoffs. Mario's saying that they're not going to.
He agrees. He's saying
he said that they would just drop one seed. They would be the 8th seed.
No, Oklahoma City drops out of the playoffs is what I'm saying.
Okay, so you don't think the LA Clippers are dropping out?
No.
Nuts. Unbelievable.
Nuts.
Yeah, unbelievable.
We're on different sides of that.
Clippers make it. Clippers are hot. They're on fire.
They're on fire on a losing streak, playing mediocre basketball.
They're 6-4. But I ever since getting rid of Blake Griffin, I love this team. I love what they're doing. They're the ace seed, and they're holding it. They are holding it. Okay. And San Antonio was the hardest schedule. San Antonio was the hardest schedule. I feel like they have
a harder schedule, and they're up more games. Look, it's easy. It's literally easier for one of these the 9th and 10th seed to literally bump them up than for San Antonio to drop that far. You think Greg Popovich is gonna let that? I'm sorry. You think Greg Popovich is going to?
It's all right. We're going to quack that. It's all good. We're going to quack that.
You think Greg Popovich is going to let that shit happen? Since when have you known this man not to get the best out of his players? We were just talking about how I don't have faith in your amazing team, your team with the second best
coach, and I don't think the best coach
is Eric Spoelstra. You're doubting if he can get them to play well enough to keep their spot. Well, then if that's how lowly you feel about him, I feel that Greg Popovich can damn near guarantee me that he's going to get those players to continue to play at a level and hold their position. At worst, if a team catches fire, they might drop to the 6th seed. But to drop
Spurs? Gone.
But to drop that low, I just don't see it happen. When you have so much more competition.
They're 3-7 in their last 10. You know who else is 3-7?
Okay,
in their last 10?
You just said.
Grizzlies.
You just said.
They're on a losing streak.
Let's ignore the last 10. We're looking forward to the future. Mario Adamo, 2018.
How does the Spurs' future look? Oh, it looks
good. They're on a win streak.
It looks hell and back.
With Greg Popovich, their future looks great.
The Spurs are a team that I kind of look at as a matchup.
Miami, Golden State again. Utah, Milwaukee, Washington, Oklahoma City. Oh my God. They
Mario,
have the hardest schedule.
No, they do not. You can't say that about two teams. You already said that about.
No,
you didn't say that.
Spurs have the hardest.
You said the Trailblazers have the hardest schedule.
The Trailblazers have the second hardest.
Look, when it boils down to it, we're all looking at what is cannon fodder for Houston and Golden State. Okay? And LA is not going to be cannon fodder because they're going to be playing golf. Okay.
No, they're going to make it, but they're going to.
Utah,
I don't want to
is going to stumble into the playoffs on hopes and dreams.
On the back of Donovan Mitchell, future MVP.
Donovan Mitchell is the hopes and dreams of Utah. That's what I meant by that. Thanks for clarifying.
This team isn't going to surge into the playoffs. You're saying they're going to stumble? They're going to surge into the play. They're 8-2 in their last 10.
Donovan Mitchell is dragging this
Rockets
team.
And the Blazers. No.
Jazz will be the 5 seed.
No.
Donovan Mitchell is
Jazz will be the 5 seed?
Jazz will be the 6 seed. Jazz will be the 6, maybe the 5.
Jazz are going to be the 8 seed.
No.
And that is all that is changing.
I think I'm loving the Jazz. I could see them being higher than the 8th. I could see them maybe being the 7th or 6th at best. I don't see them being the 5th seed. That's a lot. The only reason why I say
one of the hottest teams in the West.
They're 2.5 games back.
Arguably one of, if not the hottest team in the West. They're on fire.
Hottest team.
Disrespect how well this team is playing.
Second behind Rockets, but we're only talking bubble teams.
I said one of.
Yeah.
You can't even clearly define a bubble team.
When it boils down to it, Golden State 1, Houston 2, New Orleans 3, Portland 4, San Antonio 5, Minnesota 6, OKC 7, Utah 8.
I'm surprised you see so little change. Like with there's 2 and 3 games that could just change this entire race, and you barely changed any teams around. That amazes me.
Okay.
I agree with Cody.
For you, Cody.
It doesn't matter if it's for Cody. It needs to be in your heart of hearts, Brian. If you don't,
Cody's right. Cody's right. There is going to be a little more change, and it's going to be in Minnesota because Jimmy Butler is hurt. Minnesota moves down to 7. OKC takes 6. There's no way that you can say OKC is out of this with Paul George, Westbrook, and Melo on that team.
They're going to burn out. I don't like the kind of ball
they don't burn out. They're so experienced.
They will burn out.
Rookies.
It's not about them being rookies. It's about the kind of basketball they play, that ISO ball. It's not sustainable. It's just not. They will drop.
It's not sustainable in the playoffs. In the regular season,
I don't even think it's sustainable now. They are not a great.
You're right. They've only won 37 times. Yeah.
Also, I'm looking at the competition here. The reason I say Utah, like what other after Utah, you're right. The Lakers pretty low. Sacramento, not a chance. Denver, I don't trust Denver to make it. To me, they're mediocre.
Utah, they're like 20 games back. Denver.
The bubble teams are playing better. When I say bubble, I mean the teams that are
Dallas.
Than Oklahoma City. Utah is playing better. I'd even say that Denver has a better chance. Oklahoma City, I under very little circumstances see making it. If they sneak in the 8 seed, if they do. Every other team is playing better. That's why I see it. If this was in the East, I'd say Oklahoma City could take the 4 seed, but it's not.
If there's any team that drops out of this, and I'm shocked that you guys keep saying OKC, I can see Minnesota slipping out of the playoffs without Jimmy Butler.
I agree 100%. They just signed Derrick Rose, but I think that's more.
So,
I don't know if that's
playoff push.
That's just tips.
That's tips. That's tips, bro.
Finishing what he started,
bro. Yeah.
Oh my God. Every time Tip sees this man with healthy knees, he just has to have them.
And ruin them.
Derrick Rose, just go out to pasture, bro. You made some money. Just get out. Just
Look.
be done.
My seeding is gonna go. San Antonio, I think they still keep that 5 spot. I think that they right the ship. OKC is gonna be number 8. Utah 7, and Minnesota. Minnesota stays where it is.
I think Minnesota's fine without Butler. They still got enough pieces. Cat stepped up in his absence. Wiggins.
I think the other states are going to be more. I think at the end of the day, there's going to be more moving back and forth of 7 and 8. There's going to be more losses around there than it is going to be around like Minnesota. Then
it wouldn't surprise me if there's like a tiebreaker by the end of this season between these two teams.
That'd be a little insane.
Based on, conference wins and things like that. I could see that being a real thing.
Look, dude, I'm glad you said that because to my point about how Minnesota will probably stay the same. Divisionally, they're 9-4.
Yeah.
They're fine. So I feel like they're gonna take most tiebreakers.
I'm just worried because
speaking of divisionally, guys, look at OKC. What's their divisional record?
5-9.
5-9. Okay.
Trash.
And you want to talk about that? I mean, come on, guys. No, it's
the only playoff team. They're the only top 9 team that has a losing divisional record.
Not even just top 9. Look at the Lakers have almost a better.
I mean, this could just be me speaking as a big Melo fan growing up. I've always loved Melo.
Could be.
But I don't know. With that amount of star power that's on OKC, I just don't see them with that amount of star power and Russell Westbrook. If Russell Westbrook could drag this team to the playoffs on his own back, I don't see how adding 2 stars to this team takes them out of the playoffs.
They're going to be in the playoffs.
Better.
They have no chemistry.
Got better. It's not that Russell Westbrook got worse. It's just the West got better.
I think they're on par. I do think that the teams underneath them have gotten better, but at the same time, I don't think OKC is like that worse. I think that there is a gap that has been closed, but they are on the upper echelon of that gap. That's why I think they still hold the spot. Nobody's doubting if Denver in Nikola Jokic has a stud going forward. This man just had 30-something points on 14 shots, was living at the line. Beautiful player. They've gotten better. Utah, with their core of young and old players, with the godsend of Donovan Mitchell leading this team, he reminds me a little bit of young Kobe. Reminds me a little bit of young Kobe. All right, young Kobe in like a Kyle Lowry-ish body because he's a smaller guard. You know what I mean? Like a cross between.
I would even take a step forward and say like almost prime Kobe. You know what I mean?
That is a lot of praise.
In terms of his game, he takes a lot of these like the same fadeaway jumpers that Kobe took. Obviously, he modeled his game off of a Kobe and a Jordan rather than a LeBron or something like that.
Most definitely.
I mean, of course he did. What kind of guard in today's NBA didn't?
I mean, for sure. But he's doing it better than a lot of other guards that have come into the league.
That's fair.
Yeah. So with someone like that, how can I even say that? To my point about why the Los Angeles Clippers are dropping out, those 2 teams outside of the playoff hunt that we talked about, right? They got talent. Even OKC, they got talent. The LA Clippers are the only ones to remove talent, right? And when it comes to the playoff push and playoff basketball, it hinges upon individual efforts at the end of the day. That's what gets, if you're a bad team, cracking that ceiling, that comes down to your individual best player or players. And if we go down the list between OKC, even Minnesota, if you're trying to get brave, Minnesota, OKC, Denver, and Utah, the teams that really affect them, their best players, their second best player is still on a higher level than the LA Clippers best player.
And that may be true, but basketball is a team sport, Nathaniel. It's not an individual sport. Do they have better players? Of course. Oklahoma City has.
It's less of a team sport than it is football.
If you're Oklahoma City, it's not a team sport.
The individual efforts of one player can pour you over the edge, i.e., Damian Lillard with Portland.
Yes.
Yeah,
Damian
for sure. I
Lillard
mean, I
is the
agree with
only
you there,
person-
but I don't think that means that it's just like, oh, well, they have more stars, so clearly they're going to make it. I mean, that's clearly not.
Towards the end of the season, that's exactly what.
Look at teams. The teams that tend to be in the playoffs are the teams that tend to have the most talent. And that's like regardless of division. That's just how the NBA works. The teams with the most talent are in the playoffs, and it's the most like top tier talent. It's not the best like unilateral team. Like you can throw the Spurs at me, but literally the Spurs had Hall of Famers on their squad surrounded by role players. Even now, when healthy, they have maybe a second or third ballot Hall of Famer in Aldridge. I think that's being fair to Aldridge. If Kawhi continues to play at the level that he's at and projects, and his career projects, right? He's gonna be
if he's there. If he's even
he already came out and committed to returning to the San Antonio Spurs. All these teams, even the teams that you think are so balanced, they just, instead of it being a huge spike, it's like more of a gradual peak, but that peak is still significant. It's still so huge in comparison to anybody else's peak. It's rising tides raise all ships. That's literally what it comes down to. So if by the basic criteria of how the NBA has gone for the past 2 years, they don't have the power, they don't have the star power in comparison to people who want their spot. There's two other teams down there who want their spot, and I have two dudes looking at you being like, I'm gonna come get this, especially Donovan Mitchell.
So it doesn't even matter. We're talking about a team that's literally going to get bounced in the first round.
No.
But all I'm saying is OKC doesn't make it, and I think LA does make it. That's my final synopsis of the West.
Love this, man.
I could be wrong, but that's where I see this.
Could be wrong, but he ain't.
The disrespect
I respect that.
on this side of the room over here.
Honest, it's what they would
You're
want.
just being wrong, is what you're being.
That was rude.
I don't know.
That was
the two. I mean, me and Mario both have the same opinion.
Yeah, I'm shocked, but I'll take it.
I know it doesn't happen often,
Doesn't
but when it
happen
does,
often.
we're usually right. So
Rezo, go ahead and clip the "How dare you" meme for me right here.
How dare you?
There we go.
Great meme.
Perfect.
Great meme.
Excellent. All right, guys. Final words.
My final words, Mario. How dare you? You modern NBA fan.
I'll take it.
How dare you not
We
know?
live in the modern NBA.
How dare you not know basketball in any sense of the word?
All you gotta do is dribble and put it.
I
in.
am offended.
just shut up and dribble, Mario.
Right. 3 is worth more than 2. Someone tell Carmelo Anthony that 3 is worth more than 2.
And we will fight later. We will physically fist fight later.
Oh my gosh.
I want to see that. Can I watch that?
Of
I will
course you can.
send Carmelo
$12. Tickets, $12.
HBO.
$12 ticket. I'd pay $5.
You can't negotiate. Point.
I am. You just said 7.
Yeah, I did
He
negotiate.
did negotiate.
Right. Point being,
All right.
I will send Carmelo Anthony in edible arrangements because I respect the man.
Edible arrangement.
But it's gonna just have a little note that says
No one
three-
likes an edible arrangement.
a lot of people do. It's gonna
Yeah,
say
I mean, it depends. It depends on the edible arrangement.
3 is worth more than 2. Have fun golfing. The end.
Tell LeBron 3 is worth more than 2.
Oh my gosh, I will. And LeBron now shoots 3s. And LeBron surrounds himself with 3-point shooters. Like LeBron understands that 3 is worth more than 2. Carmelo's like, listen, I'm just gonna do the thing I'm good at, which I don't blame Carmelo. Like Carmelo's the one person in the NBA who gets
Rezo,
shit
go
on.
ahead, mute Mario. All right, Nate, what are your final words?
This isn't
Carmelo-
around the horn. You can't just
Carmelo-
mute him.
Is
I
the
wish we
one
could.
person in the NBA
You can't
who
just
gets
mute
shit
him.
on for doing the thing he's good at. I'm not going to tell Carmelo to learn to shoot 3s because he's so good at that mid-range too. But mid-range 2s don't get you in the playoffs anymore. I'm sorry, Melo.
That's a fair point. That's modern day NBA for you.
Good thing that they have Paul George there, who is shooting a career high in his 3-point percentage to help offset that. But going on to what I think the final note should be is in looking at the Western Conference, because the Cavaliers are going to win the East, so there's no point dissecting that any further. I'm actually very excited to see Houston versus the Utah Jazz. I'm looking at their teams, right? And I think that they actually match up really well. I think at the end of the day, you'll see a team you'll see Utah being Houston light. I think that it's going to be a stage built for Donovan Mitchell to really be Kobe-esque. This man saying that he feels that Donovan Mitchell is old Kobe, or I'm sorry, not old Kobe, but prime Kobe, which is fantastic. So that means once he's the 8th seed and he's going up against James Harden, I expect a duel, and I'm actually very excited for that. Outside, like everybody else, I'm not very excited to see in terms of how I'm breaking down the matchups going forward. But I can see that definitely being a weird game, a weird series to 5. You know what I mean?
They could technically
a competitive 5.
They could definitely sneak a game or two away from Houston, especially if James Harden, doesn't have the calls going his way, which will be pretty fun to see in the playoffs. But no, I'm excited for the Western Conference in the playoffs. The Western Conference is, especially the last few years, has been really fun to watch in the playoffs.
I agree with Brian. The division's so close. How are the games not going to be good?
Yep.
It's going to be fantastic.
Cody, any final words?
No,
Good.
I said everything I need to say.
It's good.
Damn right you did.
Everything you said was wrong. Great.
That's rude.
Bold statement, Brian. Bold statement.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us for another FanCast Fridays. As always, it's your boy Neth with the crew. Remember, this is FanCast Sports, where the fans speak, so be heard.